going to regulate the fact that most gas stoves on the market would no longer be able to be sold.
No, I've seen this movie before.
Something that's happening is more and more people are sharing our videos. So more and more people outside of our algorithm are now seeing these, seeing this information, and they will be able to make a more informed decision come voting time. Byron is about to jump on somebody about the new gas stove rule. I have a gas stove in both of our homes. I don't know why in the world they want us to get rid of them, but let's go ahead and find out for ourselves.
Thank you, Chairman. First and foremost, I find it to just be highly disrespectful that the Department of Energy was asked to be here. They're not here. They don't want to answer questions about their own rule, which is going to impact the bottom line and the pocketbook of every American, especially those who own gas stoves currently. And
so they had a meeting, a congressional hearing, a subcommittee, House Oversight Subcommittee holds the hearing about the gas stove rule, and they invited DOJ to come, and they did not. So he's going to address them, and I'm sure he's going to be pissed off as he's doing so.
You know, I just find that to just be ridiculous. They must be taking a cue from the president, who doesn't even want to answer questions, doesn't do press conferences.
Shots fired! Shots fired, Joe Biden!
And just is nowhere to be found. I find that to just really be laughable, to be honest. Secondarily, this whole gas stoves thing makes no sense. Mr. Stein, I think you were saying in your testimony that roughly only 4% of the current product in the gas stoves market would actually even comply with the EPA's rule. So if you are a homeowner or even a renter and there are gas hookups into the kitchen, what are they supposed to do? Are they now supposed to retrofit their kitchen for an electrical outlet? Because it's not a normal outlet with electric stoves. It is a specially designed outlet for the electric stove in the kitchen. So I would ask the Department of Energy, if they were actually here, what do you expect the American people to do with respect to their kitchen? Are they going to now retrofit their kitchen to allow for an electric hookup to go in there?
It's unfortunate that Department of Energy, and I said DOJ at first, wasn't. Department of Energy aren't there, because now it's going to be he's asking some really good questions. And once these rules, once this becomes law, are they now going to force people to change their cooking situation in their homes by their own dime, or is it going to be is the government going to help out with that? Going to give them like a $500 rebate for working with a certain contractor? That would be shady as hell, because then they will be pushing contractors to make more money in order to get people over to the electric side again. I truly don't understand that, but I guess they're trying to go, this is a whole climate control / safety type of situation, because I guess the emittance of gas messes up the climate. I guess it can potentially cause fires or explosions or something like that. So I guess they're going to dig in their bags and pull out as many negatives as possible and potentially harmful things that could happen if we don't move in the direction that they want us to move. Yeah, it's kind of irresponsible for them not to have been there, because these questions are going to keep coming. And they can't just dodge them by not showing up. And it's unfortunate that they can't hold them to account. Like, y'all, this is mandatory that y'all are here. It should be mandatory that someone who represents that department should be there.
When the House wasn't designed for that, Mr. Delaski, what's the cost on that? Is that in your research?
The department has not proposed to ban gas stoves.
The department did not propose a ban of gas stoves, but the department is actually going to regulate the fact that most gas stoves on the market would no longer be able to be sold.
That's just as good as a regulation on gas stoves. He's absolutely right. Like, everyone who produced these gas stoves all these companies that produce these gas stoves that are currently in Home Depot, Lowe's, and Sears, and wherever else you can buy a gas stove, they're about to be poop out of luck. I was about to say the other word, out of luck, but they're about to be out of luck. They're going to lose a whole lot of money, a whole lot of business, and they're going to have to lower their prices just so they can get them off the market, just so they can now sell nothing but electrical stoves. If what he's saying is absolutely the truth.
They won't be allowed to be sold. Only 4%. Do you agree with that, Mr. Delaski?
No, I've seen this movie before.
No, Mr. Delaski, this is not a movie. This is reality.
What the hell, bruh? You see what he tried to do? I've seen this movie before. Of course you've seen the movie before, and now you're trying to recreate it, is what you're trying to do. Remix, you're trying to remix the movie that you've seen before. It's not a damn joke. What's about to happen is a whole bunch of people are going to lose jobs in manufacturing companies to try to create these gas stoves that they've been creating. They have so many parts and materials that they've already purchased and have on back order that they've paid for to make these gas stoves work better and more efficiently. This is already happening. So when you say we're no longer producing these gas stoves, a lot of people are going to lose their resources. They're going to lose their jobs. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And a lot of the companies who sell these gas stoves are going to lose a poop ton of money. And y'all clearly don't care.
The claim
because
is that...
Mr. Delaski, this is reality. Because if you're going to tell, let me bring it to you this way. If you're going to tell my mom that she can't have a gas stove anymore and she can only buy an electric stove, but there's a gas hookup in the kitchen and now the kitchen has to be remodeled, and we were renters, we were not owners, which means the landlord had to go and redo that. Do you know what that's going to do to her livelihood?
Wow.
What happens if the landlord says, man, I got to go through these massive retrofits. I'm not paying for that. It falls on the back of the renter, which is what does happen. Does that sound like a movie to you? No, it doesn't. I'm not even asking you a question because this is ridiculous. This is not a movie. These are people's lives.
Thank you. I love when somebody, listen, some people ain't out there just to say all of the right things so that when it's time for them to run for office, they have this squeaky clean record that shows this is why you should vote for me. I always said the right things. No, he can care less about that. He cares more about people, and he want you all to care about people too. That's it. That's it. Stop taking it for a joke simply because your life is perfect or your life is mapped out the way that you've been wanting to. I don't know. I'm messing up my words right now. But you clearly don't care about everyone that's connected to these gas stoves right now. You don't. And you acting like it's for the greater good of the country. What about climate control?
And we have the Department of Energy who doesn't even have the guts, the courage to come in here and answer questions about their proposed rule. They would rather hide in their building down the street than come in here and talk to the American people, talk to the people's representatives. I mean,
and it's unfortunate too, because it's not like he don't overtalk people. He actually allowed people to answer. Department of Energy, come there, take the questions and answer them. Make it clear for the rest of the country so that we can be on one accord. Because the problem now, the reason why a lot of things are going down in this country, and this country is not as great as it once was, is because we continue to do the same sugar honey iced tea. We want to move the needle forward without considering everyone else that has something to do with it. And maybe it's because somebody already padded your pockets, and that's unfortunate too. That's criminal.
We do have to fund the Department of Energy. That's coming up in a couple of months. If you can't even come in here and answer questions, why would we fund you? And that's serious. I'm not even joking around.
Facts. When we want to ask you questions, you tell us to kiss your ass. But when it's time for you to be funded so you can pay your employees, now we look like the assholes. We look like the buttholes now because you're going to have some pay cuts now. You're going to have to lay some people off now. Why aren't they just giving us the money that we need? They know that we have this to pay for and we have that. We have all of our buildings to pay for. We got to make sure the lights are on and the plumbing is taken care of and the electricity and all this other stuff. All the maintenance to maintain these facilities. We have to make sure we're paying for people to do that. But then when they don't get the money, guess what? They're going to blame them. Well, in all actuality, it's their fault simply because they aren't trying to open up and share what's going on in their buildings.
Because this thing is stupid. For Black and brown communities, the cost of actually having to go out and buy a new appliance or to retrofit your kitchen is far more dangerous to your bottom line and to your pocketbook. I'm being honest, far more dangerous. I noticed in the ranking member's comments, she never once mentioned what it would cost a Black and brown family. She didn't talk about that. All she's talking about is the fact that the entire Green New Deal agenda may, and I stress may, cut 1/2 of a degree in the world's climate by 2050. And I stress may, because there was a representative from the Department of Energy in the Senate a few weeks ago, and he could not even answer the question that came from Senator Kennedy. He didn't know. He had no answer. He was like you, Mr. Delaski, just going back through this is not a movie or whatever the heck you're saying over there. This stuff is dumb. Listen, what we should be doing.
I like Byron Donalds, man. I like Byron Donalds because he just give it to the people real, man. He just give it to them real. Like, I ain't here to play games with y'all, bro. I'm not here to play any games with not one of y'all. All right? It's dumb. Can we act as if there are real people who will be affected by this nonsense? And as Angel said, shout out to Angel for saying this right here. As Angel said, if Department of Energy are so confident that what they are doing is the right thing, they will be there. They will be there. Absolutely the facts.
Is a couple of things. Number one, making sure that there is actually cheap and readily affordable energy for our businesses and for our people. Period. Full stop. Two, this notion of chasing down the Green New Deal fantasy, which, by the way, half the globe is ignoring. China is not doing this. Russia is not doing this. And the Europeans are backpedaling from this quickly because even the Europeans now understand that they can't live their Green New Deal dreams on gas that they were getting from Russia. They don't get to do that anymore. So now Europe is backpedaling. We need to get serious in the United States. And if we want to have an economy where everybody's got to be able to earn money in, and we want to have an energy grid that is sustainable, what we can't do are these crazy demands from the Department of Energy and from the EPA. Last thing I'll say is this.
Well, we don't know who's in their pockets. You know what I mean? Follow the money. We don't know who's in their pockets. They wouldn't make such decisions without considering everyone, all parties involved, unless it was lucrative for them, financially beneficial for them on that end, or they're just trying to double dip. That's it. Because as Byron Donald said before, when y'all come to us for funding to pay your employees and all your contracts to make sure that y'all facilities are squared away, when you come to us for funding, we will consider the fact that you all was not here in such times as these. So was really good. Now you got to explain yourself. You got to sell yourself now. That's not going to be fun. That's not going to be fun at all because he's not going to forget. And then they're going to go to, when it's time to vote, they're going to say, we didn't have the funding because of them. No one wants to take accountability for themselves anymore, man.
If we follow the president's dream and the other party's dream of electrifying every car and electrifying every stove, you know what we're going to have? We're going to have an electric grid with not enough energy to turn the lights on. Those are the facts. I yield back.
Thank you, Byron Donalds. He put his whole foot, all 10 toes of Department of the Energy ass, just in my humble opinion. You know what I mean? But I want to hear what y'all got to say per usual. This right here is just one of them type of situations where we need to consider everything. That's it. And I know it's not going to be an answer from Department of Energy that anyone on the opposite side of their way of thinking will just, comprehend right away or buy right away. Just not only understand, but agree with right away. They will have to go into full context as to why this makes sense. But what he's saying is absolutely the truth. I remember it seems like every single car maker now, every car maker has an electric vehicle now. I'm sure some that have not taken that step yet, but for the most part, a great majority of them are already there. Everybody's electricity, everything electrical, because they think that that's a resource that we can never run out of, and that's not damaging the earth. I don't know, man. That's why y'all need to keep some prayer in your life, because there's them unknowns out there that we're not familiar with, man. And there's a whole bunch of greedy people in power who don't give a damn about you nor your family. They will act like they do in order to get in power, but other than that, or to stay in power, they will act like they do to get in power and stay in power. But other than that, they don't care about us, man.